The Project. Kuwait. Learn. Live.
Okay, guys, today we had a superstar, local superstar, Jamie from Kuwait Moms Guide.
Awesome superstar, in my opinion.
Yeah, Mahdi's a big fan. And her celebrity trainer as well, Jon P Fitness of Stop Crying Fitness.
Great guy. Great information. You got to love what he was saying during the show.
Yeah, exactly like him. So for any of you guys who don't know him, he has his own studio. And he obviously is a studio owner of Stop Crying Fitness, which is a bit of an aggressive name. But actually, once you meet him and once you hear him speak, actually, you understand he's not going to be in your face. And actually, he's actually just a very good motivator,
He's
very good coach.
Great motivator. And I think Kuwait Moms Guide's a great motivator for everyone out there that's looking to get back into health, wellness, and fitness, especially from a family perspective. I mean, she talked about working out with her children. And I think a lot of people need to take that up when they're going out and working out.
Yeah, so this episode was a little bit of a double-edged sword in that we had, obviously, a trainer and her coach. So it's really, really interesting to see the relationship that they have between each other, the kind of the work that they've been doing together, and how he motivates people, but then also how that motivation is received.
Yeah, and how she motivates her kids by that, because at the end of the day, our children are a product of us, and they're going to, what they see mom and dad do, they're going to go out and do themselves. So I just think all around it was a great episode for parents and a great episode for people that are just looking to get back into fitness and just get fitter, from the training perspective and from the average person perspective too.
Exactly, guys.
So enjoy it, guys, and let us know your thoughts. DM us if you have any questions.
All this and more in today's episode.
Hey everybody, welcome to The Project. And today we are joined by Kuwait Moms Guide and Jon P, Stop Crying Fitness, right?
Yes.
So I am totally stoked we have Kuwait Moms Guide on the podcast. This is awesome. Being a dad and, kind of just seeing your Instagram a couple of years ago after having DJ, it changed the way I parent. And I've adapted over the years. Thank you for coming on and thank you for sharing all this with our community, because I think it's such a benefit, especially in Kuwait. So yeah, thanks for coming on. And I'd love to find out how Kuwait Moms Guide actually got started.
Thanks for having me. I had 2 children here, and when they were still young, I was kind of starting to look around for things to do because I don't have any family here. So my husband and I had discussed doing some sort of publication for more information in Kuwait. It's really hard, especially if you don't speak Arabic very well, to know back in 2004, 2005 to find things. So we started the guide with that sort of idea in mind, that we were going to provide information to everybody on parks and playgrounds and things to do for kids and families and that kind of stuff. And then it sort of transformed into a lot more than that unexpectedly.
Luckily for us.
Yeah.
Luckily for everyone in this society. It transferred into something amazing. What about Jon? How'd you start with Stop Crying? I mean, where'd the name come from? I'd love to know that, dude.
The name came organically. That's the number one question. Where did the name come from? I mean, I get people that come into the studio. I'm training people one-on-one, and 5 minutes into the session, my legs, it hurts. My stomach. I'm like, listen, all right, enough. Stop crying. Enough, stop. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, we've all been there.
You know what you signed up for. You know what you were doing when you got here. Just stop crying. And then I was like, that's a good name. Let me use that. And then it just organic. It just flowed into the brand name, and we just started throwing it on shirts and throwing it on sweaters and putting it on walls. And we took the little emoji face, the little yellow emoji face, made him black like me, put dreads on him, and I was like, okay, yeah, that works. Stop Crying Studios. Yeah, let's do it. And that's where the name came from.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
It's pretty simple, man. I wish it was rocket science. I wish I had a more elaborate definition of it, but
no. But dude, it came organically. I mean, that's the best way it happens.
I was literally thinking it'd be when you have your clients coming in, it's just something you're shouting at them.
And
then
you know it.
And then everyone's going away going, don't go back to that Stop Crying studio, man.
But he doesn't do that. He doesn't do that in real life.
Is he softy, really?
He's so nice.
Softy, really?
He's really.
It depends. It depends. As trainers,
he's like, you're ruining my brand, man.
Come on, please. Come on, I got a tough guy here.
I mean, he makes you work. Don't get me wrong. Yeah.
But Liam, you can't approach every client like military boot camp, because not every client is emotionally, mentally prepared for that.
Yeah, of course.
Some people, you just gotta, you gotta be support. You gotta be their foundation, because sometimes fitness is brand new to them. Sometimes they've had bad experiences, and you don't want to be You don't want to remind them of that bad experience of a performing trainer that pushed them too hard or injured them. If they're brand new, already it's intimidating. Already, as trainers, most of us are nice guys, most of us. But then looking at us, most of us are pretty intimidating. We're either tall, we're either broad-shouldered, we're muscular. Like, people are somewhat intimidated when they don't know us. So depending on, and a good trainer, going into the session, immediately whether or not, like, should I approach this person aggressively? Should I approach this person passively? So if it's someone that comes with some fitness background, you definitely get in the stop crying treatment. But if it's someone who's just coming in fresh, we're going to take it nice and slow. We're going to work through it and hold your hand through this. And then when you're ready, all right, now, no more nice guy. Like, we're throwing that out the window. Now you're going to stop crying. So,
I mean, Jamie, it's the same approach with kids, though. I mean, I see you have your kids that they're very active. They go to the gym. They're in gymnastics.
Yeah.
We see a lot of that. So how's your approach with that? Is it a similar approach to Jon's where, it's kind of like, let's weigh it out, see how it goes, or?
Well, I feel like there's a very positive vibe off of him. That's why I take my kids to him, actually. It's because, like, when we went the first couple of times, I was, like, crying when I got home. I can tell you that. So there is that, like, you do work it. But there is a positiveness to it that's like, okay, you're doing something good for yourself. You're not here to impress anybody. You're not here to kill yourself. You're here to push yourself as much as you can for your own benefit. And I take my kids to him and they love it, literally. Like, every Saturday we go as a family and we do, and they enjoy it. For me personally, I feel like I encourage them to do whatever it is that's healthy and beneficial for them. And I push them, where I can. I'm not typically like, like once they reach a certain level, like, oh, you've got to do this. No, you've got to do this. But I will try to encourage and push them. Yeah.
Have you seen a big difference in how they are in school when you up their activity level, whether it's taking them to parks or getting them involved in gymnastics? Have you seen like a significant jump? Like, I've seen it with DJ. When DJ's active throughout the day, if I need him to get down to sit down and do a task, he's more likely to do it after bouncing off the walls at a gym or, running around all day. So how is it with older kids? I mean, I'm just curious, for the parents out there.
I'd say absolutely 100%. Everybody needs physical activity, but kids definitely need it. There's even programs now in the States where they've organized like preschool workouts for kids. So kids come to school at, like, let's say 7 a.m. or 7:15, and they do a 30-minute workout at the school prior to the start of class.
Oh, wow.
And they've actually shown through, research and studies that this has a positive impact on an improvement in grades, concentration, focus, etc. So it's like another thing is like, like a lot of times schools will take away recess from kids who are misbehaving in class. And this is actually the absolute worst thing you can do because kids need to express that physical energy. They need to get out and move so that they can sit and concentrate.
It's like with the whole influx we saw with ADHD and attention deficit. It's like if you're sitting kids down and they're not moving, they're going to have this hyped up energy.
Yeah, of course.
Where are they going? If they're not going to, it's not going anywhere. So obviously they're not going to pay attention. So I mean, like that's I have to say, like, parents really, they need to kind of follow suit. And you see it in Kuwait now. You see a lot of parents taking their kids to gyms, and we're getting better playgrounds.
Yes. And to the parks. I mean, even if you're going for a walk, like when I first started doing, like, going around to the parks, pretty much every neighborhood in Kuwait has a park. Some of them are in better conditions than others. But from, like, let's say, late October to March, April, you can go out and walk in the park with your kids, even up until midday, and it's fine. And there's just the benefit of them being out in the sunshine and the fresh air and walking and running. And if you take a kid to a park, for sure they're going to run around. You know what I mean? Like, they can't help themselves. Like, that's what they're going to do.
So true. So, Jon, what's your training modality? I mean, what's the type of training that you use in your gym with the adults, so to speak? Because I've seen you have a different range of adults, some young, some older. So what type of modalities do you use?
That's a good question. See, my clientele, like you said, it ranges, especially for adults. I have some adults that when they come to me, they already have a gym membership, or I'm already maybe their 5th, 6th, 7th trainer that they've had in their lifestyle. So they know what they want. They come to me, and I don't want to say these are the easiest type of clients to train, but these are the most direct type of clients to train. The type of people to train is they come, they know what they want. They say, listen, I want strength training 3 times a week. I need to deadlift on these days. I need to blah, blah, blah on these days. I need to upper body on these days. Okay, so your modality is strength training. But then there's people who have absolutely no idea what they're doing. So then obviously it can't be a cookie cutter.
I'm that one, but that's me.
And that's okay. And that's okay. You are. This population is the majority. Who go in and say, listen, I don't know what I want to do. But I just want to come in for an hour and can you help me?
Yeah.
So this population, with this modality, the most important thing is, I think that as a trainer, you have to distract the client.
Yeah.
I don't let them think about sets. Don't let them think about reps. So obviously in our mind as a physio or a rehab trainer or a fitness activity trainer or weight loss trainer, we're thinking, okay, I need to keep this person's heart rate above this. I have this person doing interval training. In my mind, I'm saying this. I'm not going to express these, this sophisticated exercise language to a client who just wants to come in and sweat for an hour and see a result. So it's not cookie cutter, but in my mind, depending on the client, we'll either go from high intensity interval training to strength training to some of them need some type of rehab assessment. So it all depends. It all depends on the person.
So Jamie, how's your journey going so far? I mean, how's it going with Jon?
Well, hopefully.
Be honest.
No, I mean,
I'm calling him out right now.
My husband started with him in September, right?
I think maybe October.
No,
No, you're right. September. Yeah.
So he went a couple of months, and then he's like, I have been running for years on and off, like sort of walk running, the Galloway method type of thing, where I'm really just kind of like slow jogging, but I call it running, so it counts. And I hurt myself about a year and a half ago on my hip, so I couldn't do that anymore. So I just was doing walking, and I was getting bored with it, and I hated it. So he's like, come try this guy. And I'm like, because sorry, but the stereotype of a gym and a weightlifting guy, you know what I mean? Like, sorry, it's understandable.
It's understandable.
Unappealing.
My wife went through the same exact thing.
Yes.
I was just like, look, come try the trainer out. Just give him a chance. It took about 4 or 5 months to convince Haya, and he sees Haya at the gym right now, and she loves the gym.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, don't get between me and my gym schedule.
That's how it turns out. Yeah.
But at first you're intimidated, and also you're like, I can't really do that kind of stuff. I'm plus size, so I know it's going to be challenging for me. Is he going to adjust to suit my body type? And I think I couldn't even lift like 2 kilo dumbbells or whatever they're called. So then we went. I came home. I literally the next day could not move. I could not sit down. I couldn't stand up. I was crying, literally. And my husband was like, just wait. Just give it another shot. Keep trying. It'll take a few times and then you'll be okay. And now, it's still hard.
Jamie moves.
It's hard. But alhamdulillah, I feel stronger. I feel like I'm gaining some strength. And the girls, I like to take the girls because they see me doing it. They see I'm not fit. I'm not, slim, but I still get there and I work my butt off. And they see that. So, it's like, look, their mom is overcoming a challenge and I'm modeling for them and I'm doing something good for me. My husband is in better shape for sure, 100%. And, it's like, okay, I'm not trying to lose weight or just be cute. I'm trying to be healthy. So, and that's what I want to instill in them as well. So it's good. It's a process, Yanni.
So with we didn't have social media growing up. And with the rise of social media, and your kids are, I'm guessing, 8 to 11, 12? Or
Sapphire's 10 and Sable is 7.
MashaAllah. So they're growing up in an era of social media. They're growing up in an era of everything's on TV, everything's out there. As a parent, what do you do to keep that mindset of health rather than the image mindset that you see a lot of on social media that's really driving kids towards eating disorders? I didn't see it, I heard it from a family member's child where they're like, oh, I'm on a diet. And they're like 6 years old. And it's a little girl. And she was like, I'm on a diet, and you hear that and it's like, what are you hearing at home? You see these people that are instilling a bad behavior towards food and towards exercise and towards dieting. And it's just, how do you shield that as a parent? I'm trying to learn from you here. And I'm sure there are a lot of new parents such as myself that would want to learn some of your tactics and, like what you've seen.
First of all, I don't ever use the word diet. I don't ever talk about losing weight. I don't ever discuss my looks. I talk about health. I talk about eating better. And we still, to be honest with you, I love hamburgers and French fries. I'm a huge fan.
He was Five Guys Man of the Month.
Yeah. I like elevation. I go there. I'm like, I admit it openly. I don't care who, and ice cream, chocolate ice cream. Oh my God.
I hear a trainer sitting right next to you.
John's like, stop it. He's like, no, Gary. Yeah. So I eat. It's not that I don't eat, but I also I make a conscious effort to talk to them about, make healthy choices as often as you can. Eat when you sit down to eat, make a healthy choice, make food, plan in advance, and we don't do social media. The children don't have any access to any social media at all. I told Sapphire maybe when she's 16, we'll discuss it,
That's the way to be, though. That's
she has a phone, but no apps, she's not allowed to have apps or games or anything like that. She did Musical.ly for a little while until I found out all the stuff that's on Musical.ly, and I completely deleted all of that.
Okay.
Fortnite, none of that stuff she's not allowed.
Yeah.
We don't have a television. They have an iPad, but there's no games on it.
Okay.
So I just, they'll eventually have access and exposure to all of that, but they're still quite young, so I feel like they don't need it right now, They have enough going on in their lives with school, with gymnastics, working out, going to the park, birthday parties. They don't need to have social media right now. They watch Netflix once on the weekend. They have Saturday morning cartoons, and that's there, and
that's amazing. That's a good approach. That's definitely a great approach.
I mean, they don't need it. Really, kids don't need it. And if you look at all of these guys in Silicon Valley, all these heads of these companies, Steve Jobs didn't let his kids have iPads or iPhones or any of that stuff until they were teenagers. You know what I mean? All of that group. Because why? They know that there's negative consequences, and the younger you are, the more impactful it is. So I just, I'm like, okay, in a few years, yes, but not now. And in the meantime, I'm like, they do gymnastics. So that is learn to control and move your body and to be healthy about it. You're not concerned about how much you weigh. You're concerned about how much you can do. And Jon is also he's very encouraging of the girls, and he's like, okay, come on, you can do it. Sapphire's like, if you don't do this, you have to do 10 push-ups. She's like, give me 20. I can do it.
and it's so funny at this age, even at this age, you can already see obviously they have personalities, but you can see how the personality is going to translate into the adult. I mean, obviously it's not set in stone, but I can see what they're going to be like in 10 years. Because I remember when I was at this age, I had the same type of energy. Oh, you want 10 push-ups? No, I'll do 50 push-ups. And then that translated. When I was 10 years old, it translated to my 20-year-old self and into my 30-year-old self. But you can't neglect the fact that even though maybe another sibling doesn't want to do 20 push-ups or doesn't want to do the same, that they're not going to work as hard, but in their own pace. So it's so important as a parent, and again, I'm not a parent yet, inshallah one day, but it's so important as a parent, you can't treat the children the same. You have to understand that they're two different individuals.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I really admire the way that Jamie and her husband handle and deal with the different personalities when I see them in the gym anyway.
Just a glimpse at your social media and seeing how, there are so many things that I've learned from you over the last 2 years, which honestly, now I've even gotten to the point where I'm trying to, get rid of this whole toxic masculinity, and, I'm very open about saying to my son, I love you in public. Whereas my dad, I can remember once he said, I love you to me growing up. That was just that was the mentality we were raised with. And it's so reassuring to see that and see the activities you're doing because it gives me ideas. When you had your daughters in gymnastics, I was like, oh, that's a cool place. Let's check it out. I told, hey, let's check it out.
Yeah.
DJ's, very active, I would say. And it's hard keeping up with it. So how do you keep up with it with the activities? Because your daughters also knit, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So how do you keep up with all knitting, music? I can't even keep track. I only have one after school activity that's gymnastics 2 days a week. There's Thursdays and Saturdays, and we go to the gym together as a family. So that's a family activity. Oh, that's amazing.
That way, I get to spend time with them, but I also get to do my thing, and they see me doing it. The other stuff, I'm very much about engaging them with whatever I'm doing. So I have a knitting thing, and I do that with I have a knitting club called Kuwait Knitters, and we go and we meet once a month and we do the knitting, and I taught the girls so they can come to the meetups if they want. If they don't want to, they don't have to. And then they can do it on their own time. If they sit and watch TV, they have to be knitting or crochet. So that's the rule.
That's a great idea.
Because, if you're sitting, you can do, right? You're not doing something you can do. So if they want to watch TV, then they should be doing something else as well. And then I give them a lot of unstructured playtime. It's one of the best things for them in terms of de-stressor, sort of working through whatever anxieties or problems or fears or concerns that they have is pretend play and unstructured free playtime. And that actually, they take up they do all kinds of whatever they want. I'll give them the tools, guidance if they need it. And then I just kind of, let them be. And then we do a lot of exploring because I like to explore.
Oh, that's great. So, I mean, it's amazing hearing this because not a lot of parents follow suit with that. A lot of parents are still in the mentality of, oh, I don't want my kids to make a mess. Where I'm the type of parent with DJ, I'm like, all right, you want to paint? Okay, we'll put down a big towel.
Right.
Take your freedom, kid. Explore, keep it within this domain, and I like that's such a good style to have. What you're saying, it's a good way to translate creativity and problem solving at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So here's another question for you, Jon. Sure. What's your favorite type of client?
The open-minded, the client that walks in the door and that says, listen, I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm willing to try. I think that's every type of trainer's favorite type of client. Like, because on the opposite spectrum, you have the clients that come in and they're like, listen, I can't do this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to. Not that I can't, because I can understand can't. Because if you have an injury or if you have something that's actually blocking you and like an impotent, like that's something that's keeping you from bending down or something that's keeping you from squatting, your knees hurt, then I understand that. But for the person that comes in and says, I don't want this, that's a bit frustrating as a trainer. And Liam, I'm sure you can.
Yeah, man, for sure. Like, I mean, by far the worst ones are the ones that or they usually say that they can't because they won't.
Because they won't.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So like, it's like translating a lot of the language that they'll be using a lot of the time.
How do you know the difference, though?
Translate
the language.
This is a tip for me later on.
Like, it's just it's about asking questions, right? So it's like, okay, so if you can't do that, why can't you do that? Like, we don't have to do it. Like, most of the time, 9 times out of 10, it's jumping on a box. And they say, like, I can't do that. Like, okay, so like, can you jump on the box? Like, do you think you might be able to? And they're like, well, no, I just can't. Okay, so why don't you think you can?
Excellent question.
Like, it's like, okay, so do you just feel like it's hard for your brain to fathom you getting up onto the box, or you feel like, or your knee hurts when you're about to jump on the box, or you have like an ankle problem or something? If it's anything physical where they can go, okay, this hurts, then usually it's they can't. But if it's like, no, I can't jump on the box, so then usually it's they won't.
Exactly.
And it's not kind of that they're like their brain obviously stops them from doing it, and we can't just make them do it. But it's just then, okay, we know we just need to build up and build up and build up, right? So we're just kind of helping them get a little bit more aggressive with their training, more aggressive with their own body, like maybe putting their body at a little bit of risk, like managed risk from the trainer. And obviously that depends on the trainer then and the trainer's skills and the ability for the trainer to be able to scale the exercise back as appropriate. Instead of jumping on a 20-inch box, it might just be jumping up onto a plate and then stepping up onto the box and then being confident, being a little bit higher because being 20 inches up, like sometimes people are like, oh my God.
It's like, I'm down a building.
It's like, how do I get down from here? Oh my God. So like usually it's jumping on a box or it's like running 5 kilometers and you kind of go, okay, well, do you have time this weekend? Why don't we just walk 5 kilometers? And then you can see how far it is. You can see, okay, you can judge it from your house to X, Y place. And then they kind of see, okay, actually I probably could run that. Like I can drive it in like 30 seconds. So I just do that. Yeah. So like it's making it achievable for a lot of people. And again, I think that comes with the experience of being a trainer is like how you translate the language that and the body language as well that a lot of people are giving you.
And it's like breaking it down into sort of digestible parts, right?
Exactly.
Like, so this big thing, like the first time I ran a 5K was on the treadmill and I was just like, I'll never get there. It's so far, and then eventually I learned that I needed to like say, okay, I'm just going to run this kilometer. And I'm just going to think about this kilometer that I'm running now. And I don't worry about speed and I don't worry about how long it's going to take me to reach the 5 kilometer mark, but just this one. And then eventually building up.
Because once you're past that kilometer, like it doesn't matter. It's behind you.
Right.
Like then you just got to focus on the next one. And then that's gone. It's everything, especially with running, everything is like, once it's done, it's done. Just like forget about it. Obviously then until the end, and then you can pat yourself on the back and say well done and everything. But like it's better if you can kind of just forget about stuff that you've done already and just only be looking forward. So but the open-minded guy is like, I have one client who, Muhammad Akbar.
Oh, amazing.
Literally,
amazing
I could literally say to do anything and he'd be like, okay. Right. Even if he doesn't know if he can do it or not, he's like, okay, let's go. Like he's fantastic in that way. And he's come so far because of that attitude. And actually, he's, to give him a big shout out, I think he's coming on the show soon as well. But
amazing photographer too.
Yeah, he brings his kids with him just to come and watch. Like if he knows that we're doing like heavy squats or like heavy sled pushes and things like that, like they'll come, like they'll be playing on Fortnite or whatever, but you can kind of see like they're watching out the corner of their eye, and then they can see him doing it a little bit more, and then they kind of like make a day out of it. They go for food afterwards and things like that, and it kind of just, again, it helps them. I know that it helps him be a role model for them. Yeah. And yeah, like he's a bigger guy. I think he's about 120 kilos, but like he's like showing them that he enjoys what he's doing. And so yeah, it's a fantastic thing.
I think that's one of the most important things is that you don't realize, like I didn't realize when I had my first daughter, you know, because the way I was raised was very conservative, you know, very, very, very conservative. So it didn't occur to me that, you know, there's what you do and then what you say are two different things. And my father was very much like, do what I say and don't question it. And, you know, very conservative, you know. And so when I started doing things for my daughter and then I would live my life the way I wanted to and then tell her to do something and she'd be like, what? You know, because she's like, that's not what you're doing. So how come, you know, I can't have Doritos if you're having Doritos? And I'm like, yeah, exactly. And then it sort of hit me that like, yeah, you know, she's watching me and learning how to live based on what I'm doing. Like, no matter what I say, it's what I do that's actually shaping her understanding of the world, at least in the very beginning, right before they start school and they have all these peers influencing them. So my behavior was actually shaping her mindset about what was and wasn't possible, what was and wasn't acceptable.
So something that's really interesting as well. That relationship exactly applies, I think, with trainers and their clients.
Agree.
Yeah. Like, so if they see their trainer going out and like just going like not training and going to have food all the time and having these burgers, everything like that, like I have to, whenever I take a picture of a burger or something like that, I have to make sure like my clients know that it's on the day that I said that I'm going to have the burger.
Right.
It's not like outside of that time. Right. It's not like maybe I have it 1 or twice a week. Like I know that I need some extra food, but I try to make sure that I'm not like showing too many people that that's happening because I know, not because it's bad, but because the perception of it is that like, oh yeah, I just worked out, so I'll go have a burger. Right. It's kind of like, so
you're doing it, so I could do it.
Yeah. It's like when you see the IIFYM.
If it fits your
macros, and then you'll see people like, you know, just gorging.
Yeah, donuts,
so much
nachos.
stuff. And it's like,
it's because I didn't eat for 48 hours, so I can, I can eat my donuts, my nachos, and whatever else, and everything.
It's just setting up an unhealthy relationship. Yeah, as a trainer or whatever, in my opinion.
But yeah, it's super important though for trainers to be seen to be doing the things that they're trying to get those clients to do. And I think sometimes like people forget about that. They kind of go, hey, well, like I'm working out all the time. Like maybe you don't see me working out all the time. I was like, okay, well, you need to show people that you're working out just as much as you're eating the really nice food and everything that everyone's allowed to eat, but just be aware of how it's seen.
Yeah, it's true. That's 100% true.
I think nutrition is one of the main things that we as like as a society in general, like, and I mean like globally, struggle with the most. Like I don't think anybody's really figured out how to live in this age and do what we need to do and still eat in a real healthy,
100%,
wholesome way.
100%,
you know?
100%.
Like there's so many, like I just don't do diets. I just hate them. All of them, the keto and the cabbage and the whatever,
there's no sense to them. You're right. There's absolutely no sense.
It's impossible for me to live that way. I just can't remember all that stuff. I've got so much other stuff to worry about, you know? But at the same time, I know I need to eat healthy for me and to show my kids. Like, look, let's eat wholesome, healthy food. Let's eat fresh food. Let's not eat packaged. Let's not eat processed. But chocolate chip cookies,
like they taste amazing.
But you can't. But it's like, I mean, if Meg was on here right now, she always says source your food. Make sure it's from a good food source. You know, make sure it's from the right place. Like she said, if your chicken is in the pan and it's got white stuff coming out of it, you're better off not eating it. Remember that episode, Liam? So
she's not a fan of chicken though.
Yeah, she's not a fan of chicken at all.
Not a fan of chicken.
But and again, you know, we've always said that you can't cut everything out. It's not feasible. It's not a long-term solution.
Exactly.
You have to have a long-term plan, one that you can actually live by.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what I've done over the last 3 years is I'm not insane about my food, you know, like, I'll meal prep. That's just because I don't have time during the week. And I want to limit takeout food because you don't know where it's really coming from.
Yeah. Or what's in it. You have no clue what they're cooking it with or anything.
I worked in fast food, so.
As did I.
Yeah, you want to stay away from that. Yeah, I'm not going to name any names, but you want to stay away from certain Mexican restaurants. So, I mean, but you talked about you had a hip issue. What are some of the other struggles that you've had along in your journey?
Consistency is the biggest one. Like staying consistent and like going like, because when I was doing like I did the C2 5K, you know, where I was doing like the running 3 times a week kind of thing, and that sticking with that, you know, like your schedule changes in the morning and then you don't want to run at night, or you've got something else going on, or you've got to go to work or something. So that's created the biggest challenge for me. The thing with Jon is that like, okay, it's booked 2 times a week. He always confirms the night before. I'm going, you know, I'm paying for it.
Yeah,
I'm going.
For it,
Yeah, you know,
Yeah,
and also like, I don't want to slack. Like, I know this is my chance. I've booked it in. It's there on the calendar. And if I miss it, I don't have maybe I won't have another opening for 3 or 4 days. I would like to get to a place where I could fit 4 or 5, you know, physical activities per week. Right now, I'm probably at 3 to 4.
You're getting there.
You know,
You're getting there.
like I did. We went to the farm on Friday, so we literally walked. Me and my husband did 1 round, and then me and another lady did 1 round, and we basically walked the entire farm. So I ended up with like 14,000 steps, which I was very proud of.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. That's awesome. That is definitely awesome. So what are some of the benefits you've seen from, you know, just being more active, and, you know, what are some of the benefits that you could kind of sell being more active and trying to lead a healthier lifestyle to the moms that are out there that think it's just, oh, there's no hope, or, you know, because there are a lot of people that are like that. At one point I was, you know, kicked down and I was like, oh, there's no point in me getting out there.
Yeah.
But then, you know, I built up my activity levels and I was like, wow, you know, I have more energy. I'm waking up earlier. I'm going to bed easier. You know, I sleep through the night now. So have you seen any benefits that you could talk about, or?
The first thing is absolutely you get more energy. Not at first. It takes like maybe a 3-month sort of like shift before you start to feel like, wow, I really do have a lot more energy. I'm more active and I feel the need to be more active. I'm ready to get out and go. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that mentally, for me, the walking is a huge sort of like mental de-stressor. So if there's anything that's really bothering me or I'm stressed out about, I can just go walk on the seaside and I come back and I feel I can deal with it, whatever it is. For when I go to Jon, like sometimes he'll say, okay, give me this many reps, or just do this for 1 minute. And in that 1 minute, I completely almost zone out. You know, sometimes, not all the time, obviously, but sometimes I'm like, I'm just in it and I'm doing it. And then when I walk away from that 1 hour, I feel like, wow, I just feel like the
Adrenaline?
The adrenaline, yeah, it's there and you're pumped for the rest of the day. So those are all benefits. Also, it's healthier. I feel healthier. I feel like my kids are healthier. I feel like they're more relaxed. They're more chilled out. They don't feel so stressed out. They don't feel so overwhelmed by things, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad for the younger generation. Life is overwhelming.
It's so overwhelming.
There's a lot going on. I mean, speaking of that, this is a question for both of you. What are some of the negative misconceptions that we see on social media in terms of when it comes to activity, working out, and training? Yeah, I mean, I'm sure, Jon, you can weigh in big time on this because we see some of the different training modalities that are out there, some of the ones that aren't as beneficial, some that are very beneficial. So what are some of the biggest misconceptions you guys have seen?
One thing that I think it's my pet peeve about seeing these fitness, because now you open up your app, your Instagram, and, you know, you just got pages on your Explore pages of fitness, which is awesome. I like to see it. But then when I have clients tagging me in pictures of someone doing a plank on 20 kg plates, balancing on kettlebells.
I saw that guy.
On,
he was doing a plank, and there were like 5 20 kg plates.
Up.
Yeah, I saw that. I think I saw the same thing.
And they tagged me like, yeah, Jon, we're going to do this in the gym. I'm like, no, you're not, because you're not going to break your neck on my watch. Yeah. I'm like, this guy, I'm sure he's very fit, but this is also, he's showing off. Yep. And he's trying to get views. This is a ploy to show people, hey, come to my page because I'm fit, but I can also do tricks. Like, this is a trick. This is not something that's going to add to your fitness. But when I see people doing just all types of ridiculous things in the gym, again, I'm sure these people are very fit, and I'm sure their workouts are probably very, very effective. But when you see these fantastic gymnastic, like, this is not for everybody. Don't do it. Don't do it on my watch. If you want to do it on your own and hurt yourself, like, I hope you don't hurt yourself, but I'm not going to help you do this.
Yeah.
Not in front of me, because this is a ploy to get views. So that's my biggest pet peeve with social media, when I just see people tagging me in just the most ridiculous things. Like, yeah, we're going to try it in the gym. I'm like, well, I'm going to try it at your home gym, because you're not going to try it with me, because I'm not going to help anybody off the floor when they fall. But that's my biggest
you get that. And I literally get people tagging me in stupid weightlifting stuff where they're like, you should do this. You should do this. Why? I'm not going to do that.
Why would I do this? Oh, we should do this together. Like, why? This is not in your program.
Well, but he can.
No, it's like guys
dude,
like,
I'd tag you in something and be like, you should
outside
try
of their
that.
feet, like doing like snatch squats, and I'm like,
Oh, wow.
Oh, I've seen that. I
man.
did see that.
Like,
Yeah.
Like, I've not got the mobility. Like, I don't want to hurt myself.
You know, it's not for everybody.
Yeah. It's literally just for that one guy who
For
can
that
do it.
one guy who can do his hips just bend in ridiculous ways. He's a pretzel.
Yeah.
Anything that you've seen, Jamie?
The thing I find about social media is that it has like this really incredible positive, way to connect people. And I really love that. I feel like since Instagram, I started doing the Instagram with the Mom's Guide. I've met so many cool people and connected with so many cool people. But there's sort of this, and I think it's magnified a bit in Kuwait, but it's all over the world. And that is this expectation of perfection. Like you've got to be on point for everything if you're going to post it. You've got to be beautiful hair done and makeup and nails. And, if you're a guy, you've got to be buff and you know what I'm saying? And I just can't live up to that expectation. I'm sorry. Like it's just not happening for me. Like if you don't want to follow me because I'm not perfect, guess what? Go on and, unfollow. Like seriously, I've had people like message me like, how come your daughters wear the same clothes over and over again? And I'm
Wait,
like,
seriously?
Yeah.
No way.
I'm not kidding you. Like literally messaged me, asking me, and I'm like, well, because clothes can be more than once, right? I'm sorry if I'm mistaken about that. We wash them, we wear them again. Like both my daughters have like their favorite like comfort clothes, and when they come home, they put that on and stuff. I'll wear the same unicorn T-shirt for like 20 days in a row. But just like. There is a lot of people feel pressure to do that. And they feel like their real lives doesn't live up to their social media aspirations. And it makes them depressed. It makes them unhappy, and it makes you feel like I can't go out if I don't look beautiful, or I'm not, maybe because I have that shield if I'm a mom. So therefore I don't have to look hot. I'm not trying to pick up, you know what I mean? Like, but I feel like, I'm just myself and I can't be anything else because I don't have the time or the energy for it. But a lot of people, and here especially, I know women that are just like so pressured to, they have to show only the best, only the perfect part,
I think that's a big thing that translates into the gym too. I mean, I've posted my failures.
Oh yeah,
I've definitely posted my failures.
Oh yeah,
and I'm open about it. I don't care. I put my social media up there for the people that are interested in my life, that care to see what I'm doing. I have a lot of friends in the States, and here it's like, I get my cousin, and I'm calling her out right now. She's gonna get mad if she hears this. She doesn't listen to the show. She's like, you're so inconsistent with your posts. Like you're posting about your house or you're posting about this. I'm like, but I don't care.
Who cares?
Like
my page.
This is what's going on in my life right now.
Right.
She's like, well, why are you posting about the podcast? I was like, well, because I have friends in the States that don't follow, the project's actual Instagram. They just follow me.
Right.
So it's like, this is why I'm doing it. If you don't like it, don't follow me. It's as simple as that, and
that's it.
It is so magnified in society right now. And, from what you were saying earlier with the workout stuff, it's getting crazier and crazier.
It's crazy.
There's nothing called the bench press anymore.
Oh, man.
It's like a circus press or something.
I gotta push my back as high to the ceiling as I can while I got two guys on each side holding it down, giving me resistance with bands and resistance. I'm like, yo, what is going on? Yeah. I can understand if you're NFL and you're training for the combine, okay, that's completely different. You're banging out different types of presses with different types of hand gauge movements, and all right, you got to isolate this and that. But like for the regular person that's in the gym, they like bars on top of bars on top of this. And I'm like, yo, what are you doing? Just do your stuff. And they're doing it for the camera. They don't really train like that. Yeah. They turn the camera on. Yo, let's get as ridiculous as we can. Let's get these views. That's what it's turning into.
Yeah.
That's what it's turning into.
I know that you need to shoot off in a second, but just real quick. So your top tip for getting people to move, right? For guys who are starting from zero.
Yeah, starting from zero. Okay, I think the most important thing is if you have any inclination in your mind, like let's say you've never done gym before, or you're just kind of intimidated and you have just some type of inclination, like I feel like I want it. I see somebody in my family that's doing it. The first thing to do is call the person closest to you that's into fitness or that does move. Call that person because you trust that person. You know that person. And that person, ask them about their experience. Ask them where they're going, how they got started. because I see so many people that watch these television shows and they get this inspiration for that 60 minutes it's on. These Biggest Loser or these competitions, Ninja Warrior, whatever. And then once the show's off, they're like, oh, okay, it's over. If you speak to someone that is genuinely loves you or genuinely knows you, and once they hear that you have some type of curiosity about fitness, they'll do whatever's in their power. So if they know you and love you, they'll get you out of the house. They'll say, why don't we go for a walk today? Why don't I get you a week pass in my gym? Why don't you come do this with me? So I think that's step one, because I think so many people, in my experience, I've been doing this for a long, since I was 19, I'm 31. I'm doing this for a long time, 12 years. So I think in my experience, nothing gets a person into fitness more than a friend, a family member, a spouse, a son, a mother, something like this. Nothing's going to get you into fitness more than that, unless you already have it in you. But most people don't. So I think that's the most important thing. Getting a loved one on the phone, or getting a loved one on a one-to-one conversation, like, help me. Like, understanding you need help. That's the most important thing, in my opinion.
Yeah, just throwing it out there and just trying to get someone that you trust to come with you and start to take you on that journey, right?
That's it. That's step one.
Man, I know you need to go, so go on. Get out of here.
Gotta go make the
Thank
donuts.
you very much. Thank you very much.
All right, Jamie, I'll see you soon.
See ya.
Thank you very much, Jon P.
Thank you, everybody.
So,
Right.
Jamie, real quick, my question to you is, Liam threw it out at how to get someone involved into fitness for the first time. What about kids? So we can wrap this up. What's your number one tip for parents? Because right now we see it with children a lot more, that the inactivity because of TV, social media, everything. So what's your one tip to parents to get their kids more active in Kuwait?
I would say make it fun. Like, for me, actually, I think that works for adults too. Like, you have to make it fun. You have to do something you enjoy, that you have to do it not as we're going to work out, but we're going to go have some fun. Like, if your kids ever go to sports day, have you had that experience yet?
TJ hasn't gone there yet.
Just wait, you'll see. So every school in Kuwait has a sports day where, like, they basically don't go to class for the whole day. They go out to, some sports field somewhere, and they spend the whole day outside doing sports or whatever. And it's just like almost a carnival atmosphere. One, because obviously they're not going to class, right?
That's the best thing.
It's like an escape from class. But then two, because they get to be outside with their friends, and they get to do all these activities, and they get to have fun and run and play and laugh. And, so I think the best thing you can do, and as somebody, for even me, when I want to work out, my thing was I want to make it something fun that I enjoy. I didn't choose to do things that I don't like. I don't like rowing, for instance. So I didn't start rowing because that maybe has some health benefits. I chose something that I enjoyed. And I think for kids, you have to do that. Like, I wasn't actually keen to put them for gymnastics at all, because I thought, it's a long way, because it's in Schwech. And it's, there's a lot of reasons why I wasn't so keen. And then we're like, okay, let's just go and try it. And my daughter, Sable, was like, well, can I bring a book with me, Mom? Because I really don't want to. And she's like, yeah, I'm not really keen. I don't want to do it. And I said, okay, just bring a book with you, and it's up to you. We'll go, we'll try the class. If you like it, you like it. If you don't like it, sit and read. No problem, Mahdi. And we went there, and that book stayed in her bag the whole time. And they loved it. They came out and they just loved it. It clicked with them. And before that, we had tried, swimming and tennis and karate and yoga. So they had done other things, but nothing had that same, like, automatic sort of like passionate response, where this was just like joyful. They both came out, and maybe it was the adrenaline, because they did the intensives. It was kicker from the beginning, but they were joyful about it. Right. So I was like, yeah, we're sticking with this. We're going to go for this for a while and see how that works.
I think that's the key to it. I mean, like, it's been such a pleasure having you on the show. And
thanks for having me.
I definitely want you back on here. I mean, if not for anything, so we could talk about parenting stuff.
Sure,
because I mean, we're the project, our motto is learn, lift, live.
Right.
It be your own project. So it's really important that we have pillars in society that, give us the opportunity and give us the information that we need. So thank you so much for coming on today. It was awesome.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to this episode. If you enjoyed it, please head over to iTunes to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. You can also find us on Instagram at The Project Kuwait. Thank you, and join us next time.